And we'll just start, and I think we have a nice group of diverse genders and ages at least, so that's nice, I think. So yeah, I'm Oliver. I'm the founder of Amsterdam Data Academy. I'm going to explain a little bit more about who we are and what we're going to do today later. But yeah, special welcome for everyone. Yeah, I think we have a nice group. There were 20 people who applied for this, and having now 10 people is, I think, a nice group to also interact a little bit. I will not speak for 1 hour, so I have a few things. Let me share it with you to discuss. Oh, do it like this. So the team of today's most popular jobs in data and AI, and I especially want to discuss 2 questions. So which roles are trending right now in terms of data and AI? So that's we have done quite some research since we are an educator in this field to understand what are the roles that are currently popular, but also looking ahead what is going to be popular in the future. So that's something I'm going to share with you. And we also did another research where we have found a lot of interesting feedback from people working at different companies, especially in HR and learning and development organizations, how you could prepare yourself as an organization in all those new things that are going to happen. So like I said, I'm not going to talk for 1 hour, so I just want to present some stuff, and we also have a little quiz that we can interact a little bit, and also I'm going to ask you some questions. So please unmute and also reach out if you want to interact, ask anything, or have any thought. If you just want to have lunch relaxed, you can also mute if you're eating, but I just want to keep it a little bit short, like let's say 30-40 minutes, so everyone has some time left. Otherwise, everyone maybe has to rush to the next meeting. But let me continue with telling a little bit about the Amsterdam Data Academy. So yeah, we are an educator in the field of data science and AI. We have a team of different teachers. We are based in Amsterdam, but our courses are being held in a blended learning approach, which means that yeah, it's all done remotely. But I think interesting to share. So we have courses in the field of analytics, data engineering, data science, AI. So yeah, I think we are founded 7 years ago. One of our first courses was already about AI. People by then thought AI, what does that mean? It was less hype than now, I think. And I'm happy that the market evolved and now so many people are eager to learn more about this interesting yeah, field of expertise. So yeah, today I also invited Leonie, but she couldn't be there today. She's our career counselor. I'm happy to have Ray today also here. She's going to explain her story. She's almost finished with our bootcamp program, and I think she has also some nice things to share, how she found her way in defining where to go, because I think for a lot of people it's quite unclear what's exactly data science, data engineering, AI engineering. There's so many buzzwords, and there are all new things coming up as well. So she has some practical experience to share. So yeah, I'm Oliver. I'm founded Amsterdam Data Academy, but I'm especially proud on all the people we do it together with. So yeah, I think one of the main elements I'm going to share are the 2 questions I showed earlier, but it's all based on the research we did. So we have interviewed more than 50 executive leaders, learning and development experts, and AI experts. So that was based on a questionnaire and some in-depth interviews. That's something we have done by the end of last year. And then in the beginning of this year, we already presented some stuff, and now we're going to elaborate a little bit more on that. There will be full research white paper available after this webinar as well. But yeah, we have asked questions like, what do you expect AI is going to take us, but also how is it impacting the kind of jobs that are disappearing or are potentially being created. But I'm not going to spoil your alert too much. So let me also just walk through the story with you guys. Because first I want to do a little quiz. So if you all know these kind of tools, if you scan with your phone the QR code, then it opens up a web page and we can do a small quiz, and then I just have 3 questions, and then we can interact a little bit. Go here. So I have 3 questions prepared, and just interesting. Those are also some of the questions we ask in the questionnaire about our research. Just want to gain some knowledge about what kind of things come into your mind if you think, okay, let's talk about data and AI skills in the future. What do you think is becoming more relevant, important in comparison maybe than to now? Telly is thinking that Telly is becoming more important in the future. That's nice. Oh, this is quite interesting, I think, because I see quite some technical skills, right? So it's all about engineering, deep learning, Python, because once we asked this question in our research, one of the most important answers was, yeah, understanding your own quality, your own data, understanding. But I think that was also more from an organizational perspective. Maybe that's different than if you look at it from a personal point of view. Oh, now I think we have a winner. Probably problem solving has been mentioned 2 times. Is there anyone of the problem solving team who wants to explain this?
I've written down solving issues. I think it's pretty similar, I would say.
Oh, yeah. So can you explain why do you think that is going to be important?
No, I think you can build something, but things can also go wrong. So you also need to know how to solve it then. So yeah, I think there's a lot of tools to make something, but if you don't know really what's under the hood, then I'm not sure if you can really solve it. So
Yeah. Now, yeah, that's what I already also explained about what the result was from our own research. Then it was formulated as data understanding, or indeed garbage in is garbage out. Also, I think we all have been working personally with AI a lot. Then you also notice that it's not as fantastic as it might has appeared some time ago, that you also encounter, okay, if I'm not using it in the correct way or not feeding it with the right data, it's just like every other data or IT solution. It can be hard. So yeah, that's, I think, 100% true. There's someone entering some data. Anyone else who wants to add something here? Someone is typing.
I think by my using of AI tools so far to help with my final project, I do have some feedbacks because I used multiple tools. I used ChatGPT, I use Cloud. I think we should also know a bit what's behind these AI tools. For example, ChatGPT was based on big language models, while Cloud itself is more made from code itself. So at the beginning, I used ChatGPT to start with my questions, but it has its limit because it's not a nice programmer. 2 months ago. Now it's really great. Then my data scientist friend recommended Cloud because it's developed based on code itself. So I asked Cloud questions. The answers it can give is more complete and more professional for data scientists. And Cloud haven't updated new models for more than 1 month, I think. So gradually, I also feel it's not perfect. If I continue with my questions, it's continue with some limit on not mistakes. But problem solving is more like AI is like a colleague of you, and it's not perfect. So you can discuss with it, and it can give you feedback if you ask the right questions. So you can ask, I think your code has these problems, maybe just specific about one issue, it can target on it and solve it. And yeah, that's basically my experience of selecting the best tools for your project.
Yeah, thank you, Ray. Yeah, I think nice that you explained this personal story. We believe that using AI during your learning journey is very strong. It can be your colleague or your tutor or your mentor. So that's, I think, very nice. And indeed, cloud can be in a lot of situations better than chat. And I think also someone just entered combining own domain knowledge with AI. I think that's more or less the same thing, right? So it's not about technology itself, but using it. So yeah, that's maybe also looking at the future, what is needed from us as people, but also what is requested in jobs, in profiles, etc. Now, yeah, what do you think? I'm going to reveal the whole list later today, but what do you think are the most trending roles in data and AI? Just also curious. It's also about naming frequently what kind of things pop up. Okay, nice. I think a very consistent response. So yeah, AI engineering is quite hot. I think also we have now created our own AI engineering course. Also like the AI issue solver, AI consultant. Sometimes also heard people calling it AI coach. So really, or maybe there's also some debate if there is going to be some kind of HR people needed to manage the AI agents in the future. I don't know if they will be getting some loan and some free holidays as well. But yeah, there's a lot going on. But yeah, especially engineering, I think is a lot there. So indeed, I think it's going to be more technical. On the same time, I also encountered that there's a lot of new roles appearing. Maybe AI consultant or AI coach is a good example. That is not per se the most technical one, but understanding especially all those business knowledge to see where the technology needs to come in place. Okay, so I'm going to show you the list from our research later after this quiz, but I have a third question coming up as well. So what do you think, maybe looking a little bit farther in the future, what will be a new role that doesn't exist yet? So please not just rename the things that we just saw, but really something that is not somewhere on LinkedIn yet. quantum AI engineer. That sounds complicated. Ethics advisor, that's also something I feel, and we also found out by our research that is really increasing. Yeah, I think now we are going a little bit more to the soft skill kind of thing. That's also what we see a lot. So it feels now that we need a lot of engineering, and in the future it's all set in stone. And we also have to think about, is it going the right direction? How can we manage it, and how can we apply it for our business? But at the same time, I think that can be a little bit dangerous. Maybe we also have to look right now where we're heading before we're going to make everything, because we feel our competitor is doing something better, faster, and more advanced than we. But that's maybe a discussion for later. But yeah, interesting. Also, quantum AI engineer. I don't know who put that there. I'm curious about what that should be exactly.
I put it there.
Yeah.
As currently need like quantum computing, they're also very much busy with that. So I feel like when people have figured out quantum computing, then that will also be used specifically for AI to speed up a lot of the processes instead of like training models over like days. It will be like maybe one day or a few hours. I don't know exactly. I have no knowledge about quantum.
Oh, yeah, I was just wondering how you, if you have experience with it. It sounds super interesting from a technical perspective. Maybe some things are coming together. Okay, nice. I think, thank you for this list. So let me now go back to my slides, because then I want to share with you. And so based on this research, we have defined 7 popular roles in data and AI that we now see are very hot in the market. This is especially from the perspective if people are looking for a job. Like Ray is also just finished with our bootcamp program, and she's now also moving to the next phase in seeing how to apply for a certain job. And we also from our own organization have tried to, so we have a data engineering bootcamp and data science bootcamp. It's also for us very important to understand, okay, what kind of profiles are very popular, and also how can we improve our curriculum to adapt to that. And we even have an indication about salary. That's always interesting to see how roles may also differ in that perspective. So what's now trending? I think what's still quite hot, although you might expect data analyst is sounds a little bit old-fashioned. Also in our course, we're going to do Excel, Power BI, maybe not the most fancy stuff, but I just noticed that there's so many people now working with data, much more than a few years ago. It's like a pyramid that is just the first layer of people that should know something should do something more with data that they haven't been experienced in the past, is really increasing a lot. So yeah, it's mainly about analyzing and visualizing data, typically not something predictive. It's just reporting, analyzing, and visualizing. And from that perspective, the salary range is quite moderate. Then we have the data scientist. That's I think already quite popular for quite some time. So it looks like the data analyst, although you're also going to predict data, make machine learning models, statistics. Yeah, maybe Ray can explain later after this list what this exactly entails, because she also did a data scientist program with us. So in terms of salary, it's also a little bit more attractive. So also when we advise students and they have the capacities of doing data science instead of data analysis, I always advise them to do that, because the chances in the market are much better. Yeah, then data engineer. I think every data scientist, right, when you're building a model and you're going to do that in an environment when you work with real data, you're going to need the data itself, and then the data engineer comes into place. So this is really the person who's really driving the machine learning and data science models with the correct data. If you would transfer this to Excel, I think the data scientist is just responsible for creating a formula. And if you want to have the right figures to calculate the outcome of a certain formula, that is something the data engineer will do. So just feeding the modeling and making sure that's in place. in a real life situation in an organization, that's quite complex. You have daily updates, maybe even on an hourly basis or real-time data. So that's can be quite complicated. It's at the end quite a hardcore IT thing. So it's more about connecting systems and making sure everything is well structured and being at the right place in the right time, than doing a lot of creative things. In data science, you really, like a scientist, are investigating and answering your own research questions. So it's a more unclear where you're heading. Well, but data engineering, you're more or less just making sure it's happening as designed. Then an interesting one that was also already addressed in the quiz is AI engineering. To some extent, it looks like data engineering, but it's more tailored to AI, and especially now there are quite some AI software tools in the market, obviously, but I think once you really going to work with it, also from the perspective that we just saw, from governance, ethics, applying in your own business, you really have to tie it into your own IT architecture. And then, you now have designated people really very strong in working with all this AI technology. While data engineers typically also can work with more generic tooling, also maybe make a connection with other systems as well. And AI engineers are specifically specialized in AI software. Still an interesting salary, but I think, probably most interesting would be something like AI architect. While the AI engineering person is really making sure everything is tied together and the whole system works. You have the AI architect that's really designing it. Typically in a team, you have one AI architect and maybe 2 or 3 engineers. And if you guys are coming from an IT background, then you might know the parallel that there was also typically one IT architect in the team or data architect. So this is like a little bit similar. There's also the person who's defining the roadmap about what to make or what kind of technology to choose. So a little bit overarching over the rest of the teams. So it can be a very high salary. I think it's the highest in the list that we have presented today. Then with AI researcher, I think this is typically people also maybe working at a university or a municipality, or I think TNO is maybe a good example. And other more or less non-commercial governmental organizations. It can be about fundamental research, but can also be an important element in driving modeling techniques for the data scientist or the AI engineer. And also all aspects that we encounter in our society, I think, are important. So the ethics thing, and also how whole AI should and could interact with all kind of stakeholders, including each other. I think a very interesting topic, quite new, and maybe in the future you're also going to have some different AI researcher roles as well. Maybe someone is more specialized in the ethics bit, someone maybe more in how AI can be used in a more sustainable, responsible way. I think there's going to be much more of these kinds of roles in the future as well. And this was, I think, especially 1 or 2 years ago, quite hot. I think now everyone himself or herself can call himself a prompt engineer. It's about prompting, but I think it's going a little bit more it's beyond the level of just making sure that you can write a Sinterklaasgedicht using chat. It's really also how can you use it in a professional way, not only in writing it, but also optimizing it by connecting it with the right tools within your organization. And although this is using a lot of the technology that's already in place, it can be quite interesting for organizations, because I think you can create quite fast some results in doing this in the right way. But that's, I think, what you all already have experienced by yourselves as well, maybe in your business or your private life. So yeah, this was the list. We also can distribute the whole list later, of course, but I also want to give a word to Ray because she, yeah, I spoke with Ray, I think 6-7 months ago. Then we were discussing what are you going to do, data science, data engineering, data analyst, and now she's almost done. So I think that's nice to also give her some room to explain how that went with her.
Hello. I think I would start with my call with Olivia because I was an architect for more than 10 years, and then I feel I'm a bit tired of architecture work because it's for me there's not much new things happening when I work on architecture projects. And then I was thinking about data science or data analyst already for 2 years. So I was looking for boot camps and randomly. But Olivia said, maybe you can think about data science. So I asked because I don't have any background. I tried to learn Python a bit, but I didn't really continue. So I have zero foundation of data science. But then I also look at some final project of some data boot camps. I think purely analyzed data is not so interesting for me, and I am interested in how we use AI nowadays in data science. So in the end, I registered data science. In the boot camp, I really started from zero. So we learned Power BI, we learned Python, we learned libraries for Python, and luckily now we have enough libraries for data science to use in Python. It's really helpful. And also we learned how to visualize and visualize data and how to use machine learning tools. I really like the machine learning part. Then I finished the bootcamp course and I started my final project, which is also an internship project. I picked the one which is car racing data. At the beginning, I thought, it's not so sustainable to to do this, but it's too much fun of this project. First, it's a totally new field for me. So I need to know what is really racing. And when I got all the data, I need to gain the knowledge of this field to know what's really this kind of data means. So I got data sets of 4 drivers in Porsche racing, and they have their own performance based on time and racing record. The first step I did is just clean the data, and then I did that part I call my data engineering. I think it's not complicated enough, but still it's a lot of tailoring of the data because in the end, I want to use a more aligned data frame to really analyze every driver's behavior. So there were some data missing. So I also made some engineers to calculate and generate the same data as other drivers. And I also need to align all the data sets together. And in the end, I also need to slide all the data sets. So I would say this is data science project, internship project, a small one, but half of the work I would say it's data engineering so far because I don't have a data engineer colleague to prepare the data for me. So when I get the raw data, I really need to spend time to think what kind of data in the end I need to do my analysis. So that's half of the work. And as Olivia said, it has a clear target. You imagined what you want and you work on it to make this target. But then it's the other half is data science. I need to figure out how this driving behavior or data, in fact, affect in the end how fast the drivers drive. This is an open question. You don't have a clear target. You need to do some research. And I'm very lucky because in the last 3 months, AI tools has developed a lot. So every month when I use AI tools to help me with this task, I see the improvement of every tool. Like I also used DeepSeek. It's very weak in data science, but ChatGPT was really good at the beginning, and Cloud is much better in the middle of my task. And then without the help from these AI tools, I can't go so far because I don't really have very good math knowledge. So it's really helped me, but you also need to think about the structure of your project and then solve the problem with these AI tools. So sometimes I can struggle 1 week just to solve one small question, how to find the real lap times of like one driver drive one loop, how to find it. I spent 2 weeks on that question together with Cloud, but luckily in the end I did it. And also back to data itself, at the beginning, I use only qualification competition data because that's basically what the question asks for. But it's not enough data to analyze every loop. So I also import the driver's formal races data. There are more laps they were driving there, so I get more samples. That's also what Cloud suggests me because at the beginning, I already finished analyzing all these qualification data, and I used the machine learning models to analyze what's the result. So it gives some how to say statistics or math metrics showing that the result seems precise, but there are some problems. This may be perhaps your data is not enough. So I need to think. The AI gave me a question itself, so I need to think by myself how to solve it. So I decide to import more extra data and do the engineering again and then analyze it again. But then my previous machine learning model doesn't work anymore. So another 2 weeks working on this new tailored data. But then it's step,
Yeah, I think
you need to go back and improve it. And then gradually it become better. And I trained maybe 5 kind of machine learning models, and Cloud helped me to find out which is the best. Of course, in the end, I asked Cloud, so why do you think it's the best? It's really like a teamwork, a colleague with me. And yeah, we don't drink coffee together, but we solve problems together. So I really appreciated that I learned how to work with AI during my project. And now I have a kind of happy result, but still I don't feel satisfied with it because I think for the data set I have the acceleration, the speed of driving, the braking press, and some RPM, something like very car itself related. But if you are racing a car, you want to know more details about your driving techniques, which affect this data existing on the tables. So I want to go even one step back further, and that's the brainstorming part. But I really enjoy this process that I trained myself to find problems and solve problems. So I think if you don't have a data science background, the project is really a good process to train yourself to think in a data scientist way. And I think for me,
We have to move a little bit to the next thing.
yeah. So it's a lot of struggling, but also a lot of self learning from this progress. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Ray. But yeah, very interesting. I think I wrote down some things you addressed, especially this AI-based learning. So we also, as an educator, exist now 6-7 years. And I think when someone came with us 7 years ago and wants to start working with Python, we really asked them, do you have experience with programming? Otherwise, it's going to be hard. You really have to have some kind of, I wouldn't say talent, but at least have some experience with it. Otherwise, it's going to be very hard to learn it in a very short time. We have quite a short time frame how we organize our own courses. But I think now with AI, everyone can start learning. I think it's so interesting that so much more people can start working with data and AI due to all those lifelines you have. It's like having Duolingo and Google Translate if you're learning Italian, which I'm doing myself. And it's really helping a lot. And I also wrote down, I think what's interesting what you shared is that if you're going to do data science, which always seems to be a little bit more fancy than data engineering, because then you're going to create a new model and solve world problems. But at the end, it's going to be also quite some data engineering, especially since all the modeling techniques are yet somewhere in some kind of library that you can just take off the shelf. But what I think is also interesting, you said I was by myself, I didn't have a data engineer, and then you will have to do the data engineering yourself. So I just shared a list of 7 different roles. But if you're going to work in an organization that's only one data professional, you're not going to be the AI researcher potentially. You probably be the data analyst, just trying to manage that you know the profit every month or the number of customers. So I think if you really want to be an AI engineer, then it makes sense to also have a look at a company that's quite dedicated in AI technology. Then you potentially have quite some people working there, or maybe have a bigger team. So this whole debate about what kind of role you want to do is also a matter about how they call it in a certain organization. In one organization, as a data analyst, you're doing data science, while in the other organization, it can be the opposite. So I think that's an important note to share. Then I also quickly want to share some last things that I prepared. So I think if there are no questions now, we have debated quite some time about all the different roles that there are. But what another part of our research is how you as an organization or professional can prepare for that future. So I want to share some stuff that was maybe interesting to know. Again, it was done in this group of people working at AI-based companies or learning and development teams. So I think maybe an open door. To what extent is AI going to change the workforce? I think everyone feels it's going to change, but it's nice to know from a group of experts what they think. And 37% thinks AI is going to change more than 50% of the work in 3 years' time. This is quite impactful and already coming quite soon ahead of us. Another question we asked in our research was, which departments are more likely to be affected by AI? I think a lot of people are a little bit afraid in losing a job. I think, like Ray also nicely explained, it's really an opportunity to help you, but maybe some roles are disappearing and people are moving to another role. I think that will make sense. I think by the invention of the calculator, people will not stop using numbers, but just simply by using stuff like Excel and math are doing more complicated stuff. So maybe we are also going to do more complicated stuff in the future, but which departments are going to change maybe the most? So we asked this to our group of 50 experts, and customer service, I think it's already a market which is automated quite some time. Marketing, I think, was quite new, but especially with the generative thing, it's really changing the way marketers are doing stuff, I think. But for me personally, IT was quite surprising, because the IT guys are to some extent also the ones who develop most AI tools, but like Ray explained, it's really, I have quite some friends who are programmers. No one is really writing the code itself anymore. You really are managing the prompt system to do it for you. And if you are the expert, then you are lucky. You can be the expert also steering the machine in the right direction. But yeah, that's really interesting. And yeah, there's also quite some debate about, do we still need juniors? Because the really senior IT people have typically the right skills to really understand what's also happening under the hood. But yeah, if we don't hire juniors anymore, maybe we don't have seniors in the future. So I think some things are coming together here where we don't know the answer yet. But interesting to know that those were found in our research as the most impacted departments. I wouldn't say those are the departments are going to have the most people resigning, but at least the job itself is going to change, I think. Okay, and yeah, this was also a question in the quiz I did with you. So I think prompt engineer is already on everyone's mind. AI engineering was also something we discussed earlier. Yeah, maybe this is the whole bucket about finding a way in your organization, in your society, how you can regulate, control, govern everything what you are doing with AI. And yeah, maybe this is going to increase even more. I really see a shift if I speak to companies, students, a lot of stakeholders in this ecosystem that originally you had people, like 5 years ago, I think data scientist was the most hot profile in the market because it was like a combination of IT, math, and business sense. So you had to do everything. But I think now we are really going to have a shift between the real tech, the engineers. There's going to be a lot of engineers needed, AI engineers, prompt engineers, but also maybe even the quantum technology. On the other hand, there are a lot of people needed that are really going to not do the technical side, the business side, of the governmental side of this new movement, and that is maybe even increase more than the technical group, because the technology is going to use its own technology also a lot. I think this was more or less it. So let me give the floor to someone who wants to respond. Anyone? Wants to respond, maybe also on the last 3 questions I shared. Is it something you agree with?
I think the problem with all these job designations is that that in the real world they're not sort of defined in a uniform. The jobs are not defined in a uniform way. So you know, you might be doing engineering, but the job might be that you are an analyst. You may be an analyst, but you are asked to design something, or so. It's a bit difficult to know as an outsider what it actually looks like on the inside. if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So we did our research now by interviewing people, and then there's quite some debate. What do you define with X or Z? But we're also working on another project that we're going to collect a lot of data from LinkedIn to just scrape all the vacancies and see what's also requested in certain profiles. So job profiles is the one part, but also the skills needed to do a certain job is maybe even more interesting, also from us as a educator, because we try to prepare people to do a job by giving them better or more skills. So yeah, that's something we have to be careful about, that we have that in mind indeed. Anyone else who wants to respond on the things we shared today? Now, I think we still had 15 minutes, so at the end it was, I think, quite long, but I think you all enjoyed it. Then maybe interesting to note as a last bit, if you are interested yourself to do a course and want to have a chat with me or one of my colleagues, we offer free counseling calls with our study advisor to everyone who wants to have a chat for 15 or 30 minutes to discuss if you think I want to take the next step in my career and yeah, need some guidance in how that would fit for me, or what kind of course would fit. It's the same thing we did with Ray, I think almost half a year ago. So no, that's there. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed what we have shared today. We will share the slides or white paper at least. And yeah, if you want to have a chat with me, please reach out. I will send out an email and then you can directly respond to me. Okay. Now, thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.